And we're live. So
we are live, and
we are
we're no
reviewing.
longer live from New York, so
We're reviewing a track
we are reviewing Adventure Time.
by
For this
theacp127,
I would
127.
suggest, come on, grab your friends. We travel to very distant lands. Jake the dog, Finn the human. Something. That's the Adventure Time theme.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why this track is called Adventure Time because it has nothing to do with the show, and that's immediately what I thought of when I saw the. So anyway,
I'm like, where's Jake the dog? Where's Finn the human? All right. Anyway.
I need Jake the dog in my Adventure Time. Are you ready to watch this?
Yes.
I have it pulled up on Dailymotion, which
Me too.
Apparently it's not on YouTube, but it's on Dailymotion, so we're watching it there. All right.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
It's got that hot space intro. I feel like everyone's done a space intro at some point.
Wait a second. It's not. I can't see it.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to reload the page. Sorry. It's like
Gosh,
it's just invisible.
dang.
All right. It's loading.
I should also mention that this has 30 views, which is almost 3 times as much as the average Dailymotion video.
It's still loading. There we go. All right. The video seems to have loaded this time. You ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Space intro.
There we are. Now I see the space intro.
Although it says now presents, as if it would be presenting another time. That time being Adventure Time, of course.
I mean, that's usually used as like a segue. Like, here's a thing, and now AC was, or whoever AC was here. All right, here we go.
It's a very, like, loose style where he'll just sort of gradually transition to the next thing, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have that, like, snappy quality that a lot of quirks normally have, where it's just like, bing, boom, bam, and whatever is immediately happening is happening. So it has this very, like, I would say, smooth feel. I'd say my main gripe with this is that it just doesn't do a lot that's different. Like, there's nothing that really distinguishes it from anything else. That's a neat moment, though.
It sort of feels weird to me because at the beginning the music is different, and then there's a shift and nothing happens, and then there's like a specific, like there's a word that the guy sings, and then there's a sync there. It feels like random moments are synced to.
Yes.
Without really thought for what is being synced to and why.
And it doesn't really pay attention to, like, the tonality of the track in general. Like, there are parts that feel, like, very down-tempo and very just sort of, like, calm, that have, like, the fast chord going.
Yeah.
And so, when there are specific moments that are synced, it's, like, the only time we see that sudden snappiness.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to say, like, inconsistent syncs? Doesn't sound right, but they seems like the moments where something changes dramatically seem somewhat random and usually very short before we go back to Flinkwork.
Yeah. Like Flinkwork's is sort of just default
here's
mode.
Here's Flinkwork, and then here's a thing sort of here without really a reason, and then here's more Flinkwork. And like it might line up with something in the music, but it doesn't feel like it's
intentional.
It doesn't feel like it was like, oh, this works with the music here. It feels, well, I guess it does. I don't know. It's like it syncs on a micro level, but on a macro level, it's mostly random, I guess.
All right.
We can't really watch it in slow motion, so I guess we'll just watch it again.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Space intro. I tell you, I never get tired of space intro.
Really? I thought you.
My withering sarcasm.
I see.
I'm sorry. I feel awful.
What I feel weird about. I feel weird about the space intro because it's called Adventure Time. There's a space intro, and the track has nothing to do with either Adventure Time or space. It's just.
It's an intro for the sake of being an intro. And it's a different song, too, which Makes it feel like very
Yeah.
compartmentalized and separate from the track.
Yeah.
Um,
It feels like, I don't know, I'm not getting a complete presentation. I'm getting, here's an intro, here's a track. The track sometimes lines up with the song, but mostly it's a flink work. And then there's
yeah.
also the random, like there's that, okay,
Contact
so
juggling, yeah.
there's a random moment of contact juggling there. There's this random integration moment. Each happens about a second. And then there's this cramule moment here. So there's 3 moments. So there's contact juggling, integration, cramule, and so far the rest is all flink work.
And
then there's this cramule
mind
moment.
you,
So there's another cramule moment. So now
yeah.
we've had 4 moments, but none of them have any similarity to each other or the music or anything else in the track.
And the flink work itself doesn't sync up to anything.
Yeah.
So, it's a hodgepodge of different things, and he's okay at executing those things, but they don't work tonally with the piece as a whole.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, there's nothing that looks bad in this track.
Yeah.
That's definitely something positive I can say about it, is that, like, nothing in this track feels like it, kills the flow, or, like, feels like it drops the ball on engagement, or it, like, suddenly does something that just looks sloppy. Like, none of it looks...
And again, cramule moments aside, it has a very interesting, like, smooth quality to it, where he's constantly transitioning from one thing to the next without any, like, snap, like you often see in
There's almost
flink
never
works.
any airtime in the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of experimenting with, I think that's a lot of him experimenting with technicality and contact points.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is something that, again, it's something we don't see a lot into, and it's just, it's experimenting, but it's on a level we can't see. Not experimenting with moments necessarily, but with technicality, with transitions, and he's starting to get that down, but he hasn't integrated those into any cohesive picture yet.
Yeah.
So I think that
I also, I mean, I've said this before, but the sort of the default way of making tracks in Line Rider Advanced is going frame by frame, making gravity well every frame or every other frame, and like it's now like using LRA, it's now very easy to make just a single evolving fling for the entire track, and we've seen countless tracks made in LRA where that's the whole thing. It's just one continuous evolving fling.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it's a baby step, but what was it? The track that we reviewed by Sivang, where it was like that, except then we had moments in airtime that lined up with the track or lined up with the song, and then every time the song did this one, like it like stopped
pause,
and then it started again. Every time it did that, there would be this bit of airtime, and then you go back into it, and that all it takes is something like that, but because it was done consistently and across the whole track, suddenly the track became so much more enjoyable,
Yes, absolutely. There were moments where you'd be like, ooh, will it, won't it? How does it get out of this situation? There's this sudden moment of pause, this tension and release that isn't there when there's a constant music going, just like right the entire time. And then there's
jam syndrome.
On top of that, there are sudden stops, and it just doesn't jive. There's this dissonance there that isn't. I'm making a lot of slapping gestures with my hands, but
yeah, because then when the track
clear.
does stop, if it's in a seemingly random moment in the music, even if it lines up with something that happens in the music, if it stops and your reaction is like, why did we stop there? And then we don't do that every time the music does that, then it just feels like it feels like random. It feels like I just did something here, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's all I got.
So I think that provides enough constructive advice for the ACP. Find things
Yeah.
that fit, find things that sync, find things that present the track better, and you'll be on your way to, I think, um, not necessarily being a more technical player, because that's not the goal of our reviews. We're not going to say you should do X, Y, and Z. If somebody else wants to do that kind of like technical review, be my guest. But hopefully, if you sort of listen to that style of advice, you might be able to present things in a way that, I don't know, is more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Adventure Time. Could definitely use some presentation checks, but nothing in there seems like technically bad.
I mean, there's nothing in it that seems sloppy or poorly executed.
No, you clearly
Other
know
than
how
like
to make things.
overall artistic intention, which we've just talked a lot about. So
Yeah. So, like, we don't really have anything to criticize on the technical end of it. So,
I mean, and that maybe you could find things to criticize if we were people who did more flink work.
Yeah.
But we aren't.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's I think the long and short of what we have to say about Adventure Time.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, it's a short one, but we let's not drag it out and just repeat ourselves over and over. So I think we'll call that one a day.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Thanks
Have a good one,
everyone.
ACP, if you're listening. Have a good one.
And we'll be doing another one pretty quick here. So yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.